Traffic on the street, that's bad.
Good morning. You guys are ready? First of all, I want to tell you that we are investigating a murder of a young man that's a part of our community. And I want you to know that this murder is very important to us because he was a member of our community. He was a husband, a son, a father, a brother, and somebody killed him while he was in his own yard on Ebell Court. Now, somebody knows about this, but right now nobody seems to be wanting to talk. I spoke to his sweet family, and they said there were over 2,000 people at his funeral. Can't tell me that somebody hasn't heard something or said something about this. This family has gotten together and raised $10,000 for information on the arrest and conviction of whoever killed Corey Jackson. Now, it kind of hurts my heart knowing that somebody has to offer that kind of money from a family just so somebody will tell the truth. But that's the way it is, and I don't really care what your motivations are. We need information. This young man didn't deserve this. And as you can see by the family we have over here, he was very loved and respected, and he was a part of the Southside community. They called him Big C. He was a promoter. He brought people in for entertainment. So he thought more of a lot of other people than just himself. So I'm trying to appeal to you today. If you don't do it for me, it's okay. I know some people don't care for me, and that's okay too. Do it for the family. Do it for his mother sitting over there, and his sisters and his brothers and his cousins, his dad that are grieving over the loss, the senseless loss of their family. Now, $10,000 ought to get you talking a little bit, for sure. But, and again, I don't care what your motives are. I just want you to do the right thing. So I'm appealing to everybody. Please help me to help you. I will. You know, I hear from time to time there's no justice in certain communities, in the black community. Well, I don't want to be a part of that. I want justice to be a part of every community in Spartanburg County, because there are people. And the good thing about Spartanburg is we are a whole mixture of a bunch of different personalities and different thoughts, and that's what makes us Spartanburg. That's what makes us good. So I'm appealing to whoever is hearing this, you know, to bring forth some information. If you want to tell me, tell the mama, tell the sister, tell whoever. Doesn't matter. You know, Officer Frederico has been involved in this case since day one. If you don't want to be notified of that, if you don't want to notify or talk to somebody about that, please call 188-CRIME-SC, which is the Crime Stoppers of South Carolina, and you don't have to be identified. It can be very secretive. They have their ways of making sure you get the reward plus the tip from them. So I want you to know that you know, we're asking for your help. Now, just because we might arrest a person or two or however many is involved in this doesn't mean that the family is going to be totally satisfied and everything's back to normal. They have an empty spot in their heart now that you cannot replace. We're praying about this case. We're praying that somebody will come forth, somebody will tell what they need to be told. And I want you to know that doing the right thing is something you should do every day. Think about this. You might be their next intended victim. You might be the next one. So if somebody does that to you or your family, wouldn't you want somebody to come tell? We're not talking about a stolen car. We're not talking about, you know, somebody getting their property damaged. We're talking about a human being, somebody that was created in the image of God himself. So I want you to please search your heart. Do whatever you think's best. I don't care if you send us a smoke signal, an email, a text. I don't care. We need some information to help solve this case. And if I think about that, if somebody can get angry with him and do that over nothing, because there's nothing worth you going and killing a human being over, you could be next. We need to get these people or person that is involved in this, we need to get them in custody. So I will try to entertain questions if you would like. Yes, ma'am?
Sheriff Wright, it's been, this weekend will be 2 months since this took place. So are you saying today that investigators have not been able to make any headway in this case at all?
I'm telling you that it's been slower than normal. We have had a tip or two, but a tip or two on a murder is not okay. We need to have people calling us and telling us what they hear. You need to call us and let us know, let us figure out if it's worth looking at, if it's not worth looking at, have we already looked at it, those kind of things.
Do you know, just off the top of your head, how many unsolved homicides there are in Spartanburg County right now?
Well, I know we have one, being this one, and there's too many. I don't know the number, but there are too many. Any unsolved homicide is way too many. It's 100% too many. So I can get you that number, but I don't know.
Do you think it's a matter of breaking down maybe these tight-knit alliances within a neighborhood, a community, a group of people, for lack of a better word, snitches get stitches, that type of thing?
It could be, but I want to address that real quick. You can be anonymous. You don't have to. Nobody needs to know anything about you. If you call in a tip, we are not going to give you up. That's my word. We are going to call. You know, you can call Crime SC if you want to. 188-CRIME-SC, which is the tip line that, you know, we want him to know who you are. So.
Is there anything that leads you to believe that you can talk about that leads you to believe that this might have been someone that Mr. Jackson knew, that it could just be a random act of violence?
You know, that's the mystery of it. We don't know yet, and whoever did this can tell us more about it for sure. But I can tell you this, whether he knew him or not, he didn't deserve to be treated this way.
Sheriff, recently I think a lot of the public is aware of a Facebook post this week where you actually had communication with the family.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and point that out. I had a conversation with Hadaya. Am I pronouncing it right? Mm-hmm. She called me out on it because I thought we did a press conference on this, and I just did a press release. I've been sick. I've been out of town. My fault, though. So I wanted her and her family to know that this very much so is an important case to us. That's the reason why I've called the press conference today, to appeal to you for that. So, you know, Miss Hadaya was doing what sisters should do when their brother is not getting justice. She's speaking out and saying, hey, I need help.
And
so,
not to diminish this family's grief at all. Like you said, there are other families right now that are missing loved ones that want answers as well. How does that work with the Sheriff's Department when you're able to bring attention like this through a press conference, press release? What's your policy for that?
Well, we have a lot of unsolved cases. Some I inherited, some happened while I was a sheriff. I'd like to solve all of them. And I'm trying to bring attention every time we get something to these murder cases that are unsolved. I try to bring attention to them so that it'll jog somebody's memory. It's been 9 weeks, and we need some answers for Corey Jackson, and we're going to get them. We're going to keep plugging them. We're going to keep beating the streets. We're going to keep doing. You know, it's probably better that you tell us instead of us having to find charges for people that we think might be involved. We don't want to go about it that way, but we're going to get justice for Corey. That's our main goal. So our policy is to try to keep it in the public's eye. You know, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of media coming at everybody every day, news, Facebook, whatever you're on. So the more I can keep this up at the forefront, the more somebody's going to jog their memory and go, hey, I know something about this case. I overheard somebody saying about this case. I think about this, you know, somebody said they were going to go visit Corey. Those kind of things we need to know.
Obviously, like you mentioned, not too many leads right now. So what's next for this family? What happens from here?
Well, we keep doing it as much as we can possibly do. The more information I have to work with, the more we will work with. So I asked the family to come in today. I want to show people that he was not just some guy. He was somebody's brother, son, father, buddy, cousin, whatever it is. He's not just some guy. We need some answers because of somebody blatantly killed this young man, and he did not deserve that. And that's the reason why I wanted the family to come in. If you don't want to give me the information, I'm okay with that. But do it for them. They deserve to know what happened to their loved one. So that's the reason why I asked them in today.
Sheriff, in the past, you have mentioned that sometimes gangs will go out and shoot people, just random people they don't have any relation with, just as an initiation. Do you have any reason to believe that this may have been something like that?
I don't think Mr. Jackson was involved in anything of the such. I don't think so. I think this was somebody that knew him because he came outside of his house, like he knew the person, So he was one of those guys that stayed up late because he was a promoter. So him being up at 2, 3, or 4 o'clock in the morning is not really anything usual. That's just his work hours. So I don't think that's the case this time.
And I just want to reiterate, I didn't.
No. I knew you didn't insinuate that he was a part of it. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that. You can take pictures of this blanket. I mean, can you imagine how hard it is for his mama to look at that and to know that she's not going to see him anymore? Can you imagine? If you can, I'd like for you to just imagine your child, your loved one, that you're just not going to be able to see anymore. So I'm going to ask for prayers for this family and for this case. And give us a chance to help you. We will. I want to reiterate again, there's some folks in this community that don't like me at all. And, I want to change that by showing that I do care about folks. And I always have. I just sometimes, I guess sometimes I'm a little bit on the prickly pear side and I'm a little rough. And I don't mean it that way. I'm aggravated about people in our community that is senselessly dying for this stuff. So help us, please. Yes.
One last question, Sheriff. And again, with what's going on, I would like you to be able to comment on people wondering
Just spit it out. It's okay.
You perhaps give more attention to some parts of the community versus others.
Are you talking about the white and the black community? Yeah, I've heard that, but I really don't. But I'm going to do my best to make sure that nobody feels that way. Because sometimes perception is stronger than the truth. You know, and I'm trying to work on all sides. I am. You know, so, you know, I've been praying about this too. I can do a better job, and I will. You have something, ma'am?
Chair, how difficult is it for you to deal with these types of cases? Not only unsolved homicide, but also missing person cases. Like, how does that impact your department? How does it impact you on a personal basis? How does it touch your heart?
Well, thank you. That's a good question. It bothers me when we have anybody in our community killed. I don't care who you are. You know, I've heard people in the past say things about people that were murdered, that they weren't good people. I'm like, that's not my business. My business is they were people, and they're children of God, whether they even know it or not. And it does bother me. Missing persons, it drives me nuts, because I don't know if somebody's trying to run away from something bad, that just got, you know, bad information, run off with a boyfriend or girlfriend, or they've been taken. But you know, all that stuff really doesn't matter to the family. They just want their loved one back. You know, so it certainly does impact us here, and I do wear those pretty heavy. And I don't want anybody in any community in Spartanburg to ever have a question, do I care about you because of your skin color? Because I just don't. I just don't. Now, I get accused of it sometimes, but I just don't. You know, I'm working for people. I'm not working for communities. I'm working for people. And you know what? I'll just go ahead and say this. If some rich white dude hurt Mr. Jackson, I will personally put handcuffs on him. I don't matter about that stuff. I just want justice for Corey Jackson, and I need your help to help me with that, okay? So if you want to interview in the family, you're more than welcome to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and, you know, turn it over. I want you to show the family. I really do. Because they're here, because this is so important. So help me help you, please. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you all for coming in here and letting us talk to you. Sometimes the families aren't as agreeable, so we appreciate that, because we'd like to hear from you as well. So,
And if anyone who's not close to the mic wants the mic, really just shift it down for you guys.
so Callie, if it's all right with you guys, I would like to start with his mother, Miss Green. First of all, the first question that I have for you is, what do you think about what just happened here? What do you think about Sheriff Wright's announcement here and trying to get more information on your son's death?
First of all, I believe in the power of prayer. He is a praying man. So he's no higher than God. So God has continued to move on this situation, and with the support of the law enforcement, and they're reaching out, talking to us, I feel like that is a step forward with opening up more to us on what's going on and where they at now.
And like we mentioned, it's been 2 months.
Yeah.
How's that been for the family?
Longest 2 months of my life. how to adjust from day to day, how to even communicate with his son, my grandson. It's the longest days of my life.
And Corey has a 7-year-old son.
Yes.
His mother also here with you. What's it been like for him?
It's trying to give him understanding that he'll see him one day, and he always try to always encourage him, let him know he still love you, he still hear you, he still see you, he just not here with you now. And he's grieving silently. He had an episode this morning, and his question was, I thought people die when they 70, not 39. And so how do you explain that to a 7-year-old without making, being strong for him? It's hard. It's hard.
You saw a large outpouring of love at your son's funeral. Like the sheriff mentioned, thousands of people showed up. It makes you feel good as a mom to see that for your son.
Yes.
But how do you feel that, again, in the same community, no one's coming forward with any tips, any information?
It hurts me because they all there texting, inboxing. That's fake love. If you know something, you tell. You tell. Y'all were there the whole week, 2 weeks, the calls, the messages, the food, the paper plates, the water, whatever. But I need your voice. I need your voice to step up. Because I'm pretty sure you had a mother and maybe even a child, a sister, and we going through this with nothing. We need your help.
I don't think it can get any more simpler than a mother's plea, over her son. And I'm sorry that you even are in this situation and have to do that. If I can, do you mind if I ask you a question?
Can I ask Mom a question?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about your son, because this is going to be as much about him as who he was and what he meant to your family. Tell us about him.
He had a heart that's too big. He loved everyone. He didn't judge nobody. Everybody he showed love. He showed love. He didn't judge a person. He didn't believe in gossip, bringing mess to him. He'll cut it off right then. He didn't believe in just putting no bad mouth on nobody. He always tried to encourage men, women, boy, girl. He was always an encourager, speaking positive. I mean, he even shared a video a few months ago of just reaching out to the community, just telling them, who you should be as a father. And he said, sometimes your luck don't go good if you're not being a good father. He loved everybody, and he was always an ear for somebody, a voice for someone.
Sheriff was mentioning his job and bringing joy to other people, and so many people showing up for the funeral. What did he mean to the community? Not just the church, but the people he was bringing that joy to.
Yeah, he was a preacher, a prophet, and a discreet prophet, because so many lives he touched. It could be financially, it could have been just a word, or just saved their life. I still get texts now to show what Corey somebody that they just wanted to talk to, that he made sense to what they were saying. And it just gave them a peace of mind. All I hear is, I miss talking to him, I miss talking to him. He was just a hero to me. And they always say, thank you for having him. And it's just so much gratitude for who he was to them in their lives. And it was just a friendship, a voice, a mouth, an ear, financially. He did nothing he hold back. And he didn't brag about what he did for nobody. You would never know.
Never knew.
He just showed love in so many different ways.
Knowing all of that you do, does it make it shocking, angering, frustrating?
Yes.
Do you know that someone did this?
They didn't much, and the person that probably did it, he probably did stuff for them, having people that live in the house, help pay a bill for them, help them with their kid, even take them to school or any football, even coach football a few years. I had little kids even come up to me saying that when they had daddy problems, mama problems, they would call Corey. And this makes me so angry that y'all didn't think enough of him, because he probably did something for you. That you would just think about what you did. The impact, the trigger effect that you caused in this community. They even shut down the club that he mostly promoted for. It shut down. He said, I can't do it. He said, Corey was the face to my business. He done shut down. He closed down as of September 11th. Closed the doors. a lot of companies. He did, not even clubs, he did businesses. He would, favor for nothing. He just wanted to help build people. That was his job, to build the community. He loved his area. He loved Spartanburg County, Greenville, all over actually.
What does his loss truly mean to the community? You're clearly a very tight-knit family, and thousands of people came to his funeral. What impact does his loss really have and mean to everybody?
It's causing, like I said, the business owners losing behind his impact to their businesses. Even places he have opened his home up to several different people to live. They had to, move on and pay bills, more bills somewhere else. The ears, the comfort he have given, and not even that, as a father to his son. Not even to the community. He was a father. He was a family man. He wasn't married, but he still, supported the baby's mother. He was a father to her son and her daughter. So it's just, and then the brother, somebody that she talked with every day, a nephew that they was just joking about outside, how he used to be in the office, because I own a tax office here in Spartanburg, and we would have little jokes during the day, and every holiday, every Mother's Day, he'll leave stuff on the desk, just, I love you. Just out of random. Mother's Day wasn't just the mother for his mother, it was for his aunts, his sisters, his baby mama. He just showed love just all over. It's nothing he spared for nobody. He would give his last. So people that have, act so much of him, they lost right now because they don't have that no more. We have people at the gravesite every day putting pictures on Facebook. I just needed to come and talk to you because he was an ear for a lot of people.
With everything that he has done, do you think that it was somebody that may have been jealous of him? Have we all talked about that?
That could have been a motive. Because he was just a working man just like we all was. He loved his cars. I used to fuss at him all the time. He loved to fix up a raggedy car. So he probably got about 3 or 4 of those in the yard that he loved to just patch up, and then he finally got him a nicer car, and it was just living. He was stable. He lived just a normal life, a normal working man. So it could have been, but he probably done gave him the shirt off his back before as well.
If I could, I'd like to ask you a question.
For letting me get so close in your way.
Now, Corey was your younger brother.
Big brother.
Big brother, that's right, big brother. We've spoken before about his death, and you have remained very passionate about finding who did this, what happened. Today, Sheriff Wright held a press conference. It's getting it back out there in the public's attention. How long are you going to fight? How angry are you?
It's no end to how long until we get justice and what we want. Like I tell everybody every day, we will not stop. I'm not going to stop. Just because y'all know I didn't live down here. I lived in New York, New Jersey. I moved back here. Me, my husband, my kids, we came back here, so until this is over, we're not stopping every day. Like every day you will hear my mouth, you will see a post. Anytime I see something I feel like, okay, you doing this? Well, no, let's just redirect it back to my brother, because if you got time to do this, then you have time to focus on what's going on with Corey. So it's never going to stop until we feel like we get the justice that we want and he deserves.
And even though right now there are no tips, no leads, nothing concrete that the Sheriff's Department can go and make an arrest on, are you getting any comfort, the fact that they're having a press conference on this, the fact that they are saying, we're still looking at this, we're still working on it? What does that mean to you?
It feels better. It's comforting to know that when you reach out and when you speak out, they hear you and they listen, and they're going to do what they got to do to keep going on to try to find out who did this to my brother. Like, long as if I don't let it die, then they can't let it die. So it's like, as much as I keep pushing and keep going and keep putting it out there, and I know that they're receiving it because he received it, because now we're doing a press conference and now we're here getting interviewed, so we just got to keep putting it out there. Like, we can't let it stop. We can't let it slack. My mother, she's going through a lot. My other family, they're going through a lot. I'm very strong. Like, it's going to keep going on and on and on for me. Like, I don't have time to cry. I don't have time to grieve and be sad. Like, I'm more mad. I'm more angry. I just want to figure out what's happened, who did this, who's responsible, and then I'll take my time later. But for now, all of that got to go. Like, the focus needs to be on getting justice for my brother and being strong for all of them, because my mother is that one who's strong for all of them. So if she can't be it, then I have to be it, and that's what I have to do for him.
And I want to make one clarification. Earlier, the reward was at, I believe, $6,000.
Yes, it was.
Now it's up to
$10,000. Yes.
Okay. And that's obviously for leading to the arrest.
Yes.
And is that only good for 3 months? Is there like an expiration on
I
it?
don't remember having an expiration date on it. I don't remember.
I saw
But
one
I'd like to
on
have
the
it finished today.
6,000.
I'd like to get it fixed today or this week, and we won't have to worry about the expiration.
Exactly.
Okay. So, talk about that, the fact that you guys increased the reward. Talk about that family discussion, what you
Yeah,
did.
we just feel like, you know, people like money. People like money in general. Like, so it's like we feel like, you know, okay, 6,000, we got a couple tips, not a lot, you know, so let's raise it to 10,000 and see, you know, what the people will say, because we don't care if it's big, small, whether you think it's not important, whether it's Joe talking at a cookout saying, I seen Corey. Yeah, we want to know. We do not care. You know, if we had $1 million to give, we would give it, because it's just money. We don't care. It's no value or amount that we could put on Corey's life or get information for him. So, you know, it wasn't really a bit, oh, we straight. No, like, if this is what we got to do and if this is what we need to do to get justice for him, then it's done.
And Sheriff Wright said himself, somebody out here knows something, somebody out here did it. Do you have a message or anything that you want someone who might know something who's watching this to know, maybe even the person who might have done something, give them
like the person who done it, like I know that they can't possibly sleep well at like it's bothering them, like they know, like just because of the type of person that Corey was, like this man was a son, he was a father, he was a brother, he was a nephew, like he was just such a good person to everybody. Like me and my brother, we have arguments because I feel I'm like, you too nice, you have too many friends, I don't like people, you're around too many people, you know. So it's like, if you know, just say something, because y'all took away a good man, like a good man for nothing who would give you anything. And it's like everybody that said, oh, they love him, like I said, I get inboxes calls her, I love your brother, he was this, who was that. You know something, don't tell, love is action. So don't write these messages. I see everything that comes to my mother, they say this, don't say that to her, don't say that to me, don't say that to my family, because somebody knows something. And I'm looking at everybody like a suspect. Like, I don't want to talk. I'm not friendly as it is, so I don't want to be friends. I don't want to talk. I'll just say something, because you know something. Somebody knows something. And I'm angry. I'm angry. I'm more angry than sad. Like, the sad part, okay, I can deal with that later. I'm hurt. My brother's gone, but I'm more mad than anything, because if over 2,000 people can come to his funeral, over 2,000 people can come to a balloon release, y'all do all this and this, somebody knows something. Like, it don't make sense. Stop saying you love somebody. Stop being there. Stop calling. Stop saying. Say something. Nothing is too big or too small. Like, show it.
And when y'all get through, I want to address the family with something else. So if y'all said what you want to say, I mean, because it's so.
And remember, it's also the responsibility of the community as well. The Sheriff's Department, they're doing their portion. But now the community needs to step up and do their portion as well, because together they're going to solve this case. But the community never speaks. The sheriff can do as many press conferences, we can do balloon release, hand out flyers and all that stuff. This case will never get solved. As his sister said, there are people out there who know who took this young man's life. 2,000 people showing up at a funeral. People coming to the cookout, people coming for free stuff all the time. People messaging his mom and doing all this other stuff, giving them shout outs on Facebook. If you know something, say something. Help this family get closure. And it'll never be closure for the family, but help the department get case closure. And help this mom and his sister and his father and his family be able to sleep at night, rest better at night.
Because you never know when it's going to be knocking at your door.
Exactly.
Because it could be you next. That same person, the person that killed Corey for no reason, can be knocking at your door.
Exactly.
You ain't even safe in your own home anymore. You can be at your own home and get killed. That same person that you know running around will be the next person knocking at your door. Just think about that. Your children, your brother, your sister, your son. You could be next.
I want you to hear this too. If you're scared of the person that did this and don't want to tell, let me just advise you, I'm not scared of them. Neither are my team. Tell us. You don't have to tell it for me. Tell it to them. They're the one that deserve to hear it. So
That's right.
I thank y'all for coming out. Let me.
Could we get the three of you to
Everybody
say
says
your
the
names
department.
for us, say and spell, so we make sure we get it right?
Lily Green, LILLIE, GREENE.
Hadiah Yusuf, HIDIYAH, Yusuf, YUSSIF.
Bernice Mills, BERNICEMILLS.
And Tracy, we know you. What's your title today?
Organizer Freedom Fighters Upstate, South Carolina.
Thank you guys so much. I can speak for all of us and say we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank y'all for covering this. If you don't mind, put that on there for me. Keep it up there as long as you can.